So, of course, yes, today we'll be talking about India's biggest win in terms of runs against England in the third test match. But before we begin with that, let me give a little bit insider as to what happens in our newsroom and how we function in general. So, Akshay, before coming into this discussion video, he gave me this article to do, which was about Jasprit Bumrah. And in a viral video, he mentioned that ab to maar hi nahi rahe hain, which means they are not hitting. And of course, he's talking about the English batters, and that pretty much sums up the entire discussion video that is going to be happening about. And so, Akshay, I think I'm going to start off with you only. Of course, you asked me to do that article, and eventually Akshay had to take over, and he wrote that article brilliantly. And you can definitely go to India Today's website and read. And the way you wrote it, you actually kind of took a dig at Bazball as well, and I think that's what we're going to be doing today. So according to me, there's something like Gen Z versus millennials that keeps on happening, right? So I think for me, Bazball is like the Gen Z version of Test cricket. Like, there are good vibes and everything, but there's no strategy as such. What do you think of it?
I hope most of our viewers are not Gen Z, so they don't get offended. As in, if you ask me, I would say it's too early to write the obituary of Bazball. England have stuck to that approach.
Yeah.
They have won series in Pakistan. They have kind of come back and drawn a home series against Australia in the Ashes. They have not won a series in New Zealand, but they played refreshing cricket. It's about getting bums on the seats, making it more interesting. Either way, they are doing it. Like, even if they implode, they are doing it. Even if they are not able to win, they are doing it. But like always, India was touted as one of the biggest tests for Bazball. Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes also acknowledged that it won't be easy, but they were also upbeat that you guys said, okay, it won't work in Pakistan, it worked there. You guys said it won't work in Ashes, it worked there. It almost worked here also. First test, they fell behind by more than 150 runs, and then they fought back and won that. But in Vizag and in Rajkot, it has been proper hammering. 106 runs and 434 runs. It has been proper hammering. But I don't see that we should, criticize Bazball after just a couple of bad results, which is something that they have stuck to, and they've produced results. A couple of bad results in India doesn't mean that, we'll ask them to stop, or like some of our colleagues say, Brendan McCullum should be sacked and all that. No, that is not how I want to look at it, because I simply think this England team with these kind of batters, yes, Joe Root is a world-class batter, Ben Stokes is one, like Ronak was mentioning, Johnny Bairstow is probably going through a lean patch, but I don't see them surviving in India if they adopt an old school approach. Unless they don't have an Alistair Cook, they don't have a Kevin Peterson. Bazball is their only way. I think they need to be smarter about it than being bullish.
Yeah, so as you mentioned the term bullish, that's what I was going to come to. And in a very bullish and a bravado kind of manner, Ben Stokes in the post-match press conference mentioned that we're going to win the series 3-2. We are not going to be taken aback with this, and we are giving the players full freedom to play the way they want to. So as I mentioned the Gen Z term with Bazball, there is freedom, but where is the responsibility, Ronak? Where is the responsibility?
So, more than responsibility, I feel the players are actually taking responsibility. They're actually proud of the way that they're playing. And on the contrary, I actually think that the biggest issue with Bazball is actually a lot of bragging that goes around the game. Like Ben Duckett saying that Yashasvi Jaiswal is playing the way that he is playing because he's influenced by Bazball. And I think Michael Vaughan spoke about it as well, saying like it's not like nobody else had played attacking cricket before Bazball came in. And Jimmy Anderson saying that we could chase down 600 as well. And Alistair Cook saying that England is going to make 800 runs in the first innings. So I actually think that they sort of get a bit too carried away by their own style of play. The style of play is fine. They have a game plan which is actually, refreshing. Like you said, it's different than what other teams have tried and, succeeded or not succeeded before. But the way that they're actually bragging about it saying that, you know, this is the only kind of way that is going to work out is where I feel that there's a bit of a gap with the way that they're playing, how good they are and how good they think that they are. So yeah, again, like you mentioned, beating India in India is no mean feat. Like it's there's no shame in coming to India and getting beat. But you know, this kind of overconfidence, when not backed up by results, is always going to look ugly, like it did yesterday when, you know, they lost by 434 runs. And yeah, so that is where I think the issue lies, that maybe they should tone down a bit with their overconfidence, so to say, and maybe, yeah, better results can follow.
Okay, so you know the way England played in their last innings, the fourth innings, they were crumbled for like 122 runs, suffered a 434 run defeat by India, one of their biggest defeats since 1934. And you know, Akshay, since I love reading about stats and everything, I just saw that, you know, how in their Bazball era, this team has been scoring at the run rate of 4.82, but that has now dipped down to 4.7ish something. And talking about the last innings, had it not been for that Mark Wood, like a brilliant knock, let's say, something like he did, or like some 33 run knock that he played, their run rate would have been just around 2. So, I mean, according to me, the Bazball term, of course it's there in the dictionary also, they should have got it like patented or something, because I think India has adopted this approach rather than, I don't see England doing it, like Jaiswal scoring 12 sixes and everything. I think England has just should have just patented it, because I think in India has taken over Bazball.
As in, it's not like Yashasvi Jaiswal is the first man to play like this. If you looked at it, Chris Srikanth played cricket in his days, like how T20 cricket is being played now. Virendra Sehwag, so to say, is the father of aggressive approach as an opener, right? So we can't kind of like, yes, England have played it in Test cricket in this era. Yes, always there is hype around the English side because England media are proactive and they want to, you know, term these things. If you look at it, 2 years before Bazball actually started, Rishabh Pant played a knock of fearlessness. If Bazball is about eliminating fear of failures, Rishabh Pant did it. Under Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli, India did it. It's not like England were the pioneers of this approach to Test cricket. They have adopted an approach and they have found success with it, continuous success. If you look at it, why there is so much about this English side under Stokes and McCullum? Because before these two took over, they won only 1 out of 17 tests under Joe Root. And that one win came in Chennai when Joe Root hit that double 100. After that, they lost every match, or they couldn't win any of the remaining 16 matches. So that approach has changed English cricket, but that doesn't mean that it will guarantee you success in India. What I'm coming to say is, this England team with this inexperienced spin attack and with this kind of batting structure that they have, Joe Root not finding form, Johnny Bairstow not finding form, Ben Stokes strangely not coming up the order despite not bowling in this series, they are not equipped to win a series in India. It's as simple as that. Even the best team, Steve Smith's 2017 team, couldn't win a series in India. AB de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, that team played on raging turners and they were rolled over completely. So this England team, yes, they can talk so much, they can talk about scoring 600, but it will not translate into results because India are too good a team to beat at home, despite not having the likes of Virat, KL, Shami and all of them.
And Ronak, before I come back to you, I want to take this opportunity right in front of the camera to question Akshay again, because we were doing a podcast before the series started and I had made a point that how Joe Root should stick to his traditional style of play to be successful on the Indian tracks. And Akshay, being a senior to me, he pointed out that how Joe Root have I seen if Joe Root has like the kind of shots that he has been playing, he has been reversing, he has been sweeping. And you know, that brings me to the very first innings of the third test match and what we saw, that reverse ramp scoop shot. What do you have to say now, Akshay, about it? Like, have your opinions changed? Was I right in saying that?
Yes and no. As in, yeah, Joe Root could have stuck to the traditional approach that he found success with in 2021. But at the same time, he has found success by playing these shots. It has been one of his most productive shots in the Bazball era. And he averages 50, around 50 in the Bazball era. So we can't question it. Maybe the execution, the entire England team is faltering in the execution. Like he said, it's so much tall talk, but they're not being able to walk the talk. Like 205 for 2. 220 odd for 2 on day 2 after that sensational knock from Ben Duckett in Rajkot. But what happens? They get rolled over. The last 8 wickets fall for some 70, 80 odd runs. So that's the kind of, you need a little bit of sense when you're doing this. Bazball has always taken pride. Yes, Brendan McCullum kind of hates this term, right? But he has always said that we'll adapt to conditions, we'll adapt to situations, which is unfortunately what they have not done here. Bazball is just not about scoring at 5 like we all think. It's about eliminating that fear of failure and adapting to various scenarios. But unfortunately, England have not been able to do that. Since that, maybe if they had lost the first test, they could have done some course correction and all that. Maybe that first test victory got into their head and they thought India can be rolled over, especially after seeing the weakened Indian side. But Rohit Sharma seems to have other plans.
And Ronak, there is this thing that has been going on in social media, manifesting basically. Another Gen Z thing that you so you manifest things. So I think that's what this, as I said, Bazball era team is trying to do, manifest things, but they are not translating into the reality. Universe seems to be not listening to them this time. But as I said that, Ben Stokes said that 3-2 is what they're going to be winning, is what he's manifesting, or the England team is manifesting. Will that turn into reality? Do you also believe in manifestations? Tell us about that.
No, I don't believe in manifestation. And it's a good thing to be positive going into the 4th and 5th test, which they should be, because they still have a chance of winning the series. But again, like Akshay mentioned, there has to be some balance. Even if you say that your batters are going to play attacking cricket, why is Rehan Ahmed coming and trying to hit a 6? And why is Tom Hartley playing these shots when you have just, yesterday we was doing the live vlog and the score was 50 for 3 and they lost 3 wickets without scoring a single run. And all of them trying to play attacking shots. When you know a certain thing is not working, you need some 500 runs to win the match. You have another whole day left. Why are you trying to play these stupid shots? There has to be some sense when it comes to especially playing against good teams like India. You're not playing against Pakistan on flat tracks where you can try and do such kind of things. So, that sense has to also prevail. And then when such things happen, the people who were talking so tallly about Bazball, they come back, they sort of take a step back and say, Bazball is about adapting to conditions. And this is what the essence of Bazball is. Isn't that how everybody sort of plays test cricket? You have to adapt to conditions. That is not just test cricket, any sport for that matter. So making that argument about Bazball did not really sit well with me. But yeah, it's good to be positive, but to be frank, I don't see them beating India 3-2 in this test series.
And I think we have been talking a lot about England in this discussion. And to wrap it up, I'll say that India was at their absolute best. And amid all these talks about Bazball, we saw Jazzball. And yeah, the Yashasvi Jaiswal, the 22-year-old youngster, was at his absolute best. He scored a second consecutive double century, and we'll be talking more about this as there is a little bit of gap between this test and the 4th test match that will be taking place on the 23rd of Feb. And let's see how that test match turns out. And amid all those talks that how India didn't win their 3rd consecutive test match on the Indian soil, I think all those talks have been dumped, and as India registered an emphatic win. And this is me, Diya Kakkar, signing off with Akshay and Rana.